for my generation. Can you sit here and look me in the eye and say that tariffs are not inflationary?
Are you kidding? Right now, everything's working because the market...
Oh, bring up the market one more time. One more time. Pivot right back.
The market is the American economy.
It was a super simple question.
Which is?
Tariffs inflationary or not?
Not yet. There haven't been.
I know, but are they inflationary?
2.7%. Data from June shows that prices have gone up. There's a little bit of inflation, which informed Jerome Powell, head of the Federal Reserve.
Eggs are down 33%.
Let me finish my point. It informed Jerome Powell's decision to hold off on cutting interest rates.
In today's video, Adam Mockler absolutely destroys Kevin O'Leary in a heated debate about tariffs on CNN. What makes this clash so fascinating is how exposed Kevin O'Leary gets when pressed on the real-world impacts of these tariffs, especially on American consumers and small businesses. Adam Mockler doesn't just push back, he flips the whole argument on its head, showing how these tariffs have hurt the US. So let's dive in and watch how Adam Mockler shuts down Kevin O'Leary in this heated debate on CNN.
Joining us at the table is Adam Mockler, Midas Touch's Gen Z creator. This is the moment, the type of dichotomy that I think is playing out here. On the one hand, it's completely uncontroversial for these suspects, because there were two of them, to be apprehended, deported if they were here in the country illegally. But on the other hand, Americans are also saying we want this to be more targeted. But the Trump administration is definitely going to use this incident to pursue what they're doing right now, which is mass deportations.
Yeah, first of all, the shooting is absolutely horrific, and every American should be okay with deporting people who are criminals and who are dangerous and here illegally. But that is not what the Trump administration is prioritizing. They have reallocated funds meant for the deportation of criminals to the deportation of farm workers. Farmers have been complaining about this directly to Donald Trump, to people who are showing up to immigration hearings. They show up to their hearing and they get directly targeted. ICE is camping there. Or what about the 82-year-old who his family was told he was dead and he was found in Argentina? Trump's popularity on immigration has dropped 10 points over the past few months, and 70% of Americans want him to focus more on lowering prices, but he's deporting farm workers, enacting more tariffs. It's not popular.
Kevin, is there more targeting that could happen here that is actually responsive to what Americans say that they want?
I agree with this narrative between those that have committed crimes, documented crimes multiple times, versus a farm worker who's been here for 20 years illegally, but is maintained his ability to work and provide productivity to the economy. This is a very delicate situation. And I think it's threading the needle for Trump because he said the same thing. Look, if you've worked on a farm and you've been, haven't been charged with anything and you're providing productivity to the economy, maybe we should work something out there. And this is where I think the challenge is. You talked about his polls dropping on this. I kind of agree with this. If you're a criminal and you've been charged, you're out of here. I think everybody agrees with that. But if you've actually come into the country and been here a long time, had children here that are American citizens, and you provided productivity to the economy, and you're supporting farming, which is one of the categories or sectors where there's a lot of these people, I kind of get it.
And just to be clear, I mean, I think that it's farm workers, but people who work in restaurants, yes, household, domestic employees, they're also they're inputting productivity into this economy, and they're actually maybe a larger chunk of the undocumented.
Well, you have to understand, Kristi Noem is giving a pathway for the illegals to become citizens. They're saying, here's $1,000, deport yourself, come back in the right way. Look, my husband had to do it. My husband had to wait. We waited 9 years for his green card to become, and he just got naturalized last November, right? So why do we have to wait in line? Why do these guys just bum rush in and get all our benefits and take from our blue city?
From the very start, Adam Mockler makes a crucial point. No one is defending violent criminals staying in the country, but Kevin O'Leary and others on the MAGA side keep using those rare examples to justify mass deportations that are tearing families apart and crippling industries like agriculture and hospitality. Instead of focusing on violent offenders, ICE under Trump targeted farm workers, restaurant staffs, and even people showing up to their court dates, which isn't just cruel, it's counterproductive. Let's talk facts. over 60% of undocumented immigrants have lived in the US for over a decade, and many have children who are US citizens. These people work, pay taxes, and contribute billions to our economy. Deporting them at a mass, especially without targeting based on threat level, hurts everyone. Just look at states like Georgia and Alabama, which saw crops rot in fields after immigrant labor was driven out. Adam Mockler's right to bring up how even farmers, a traditionally conservative group, have pushed back on Trump's policies. And despite Kevin OLeary's attempt to straddle both sides, his argument falls apart when you realize this isn't about fairness. It's about fear-mongering, plain and simple.
My big problem with Los Angeles is that you have local mayors there giving the heads up to communities saying, hey, there's an ICE raid coming. You better leave and let's get the rioters
The
in.
problem
I have
That's
a bigger
not
problem
what
with
an
what
elected
they're
official
doing
should do.
in not detaining or abiding by the detainer when someone's been convicted of a crime. I think they should at least cooperate with that and have that carve out, as you mentioned earlier. I think that carve out makes a lot more sense.
I want to respond to Angie saying this gives a path. What this does is disincentivize people from going to the courthouse and following the proper procedures. And part of the reason they're being so aggressive is because of this arbitrary quota set by Stephen Miller, 3,000 a day, meaning people who are going to courthouses, being detained, being deported. Again, workers, people who are contributing to this country. So do you think it's okay when somebody who is following the proper processes is then kind of like hoodwinked?
Not if they came in here illegally in the first place, right?
It's not
Why didn't they
illegal if
apply?
They came through asylum process.
But that's the thing.
That's
That's
not
the
illegal.
thing.
Well,
They're
that's what-
criminalizing asylum. That's what's happened, right?
Yes.
Trump is criminalized.
Oh, no.
Yes, actually. Trump has criminalized the legal process of asylum. Basically, if you come here and you were abiding, right? You're showing up to court because you're following the rules.
Only 4 trade agreements have been announced. Kevin, when are the deals coming?
Bassett tempered the enthusiasm from Japan over the weekend at the American Pavilion, and he spoke again this morning about this. He referenced, I want quality deals.
You say we should pay attention to the quality rather than the speed when the entire promise was 90 deals in 90 days. They were going to get it done fast, reshape the global order, and Kevin says the stock market thinks these tariffs are going to work, but no, the stock market doesn't believe Trump. When he announced the Liberation Day tariffs,
an all-time high
the
today.
stock market immediately dropped when he announced Liberation Day
Where
tariffs.
are we today?
After he vacillated, people don't believe him.
All-time
Countries
high
don't
in
believe
all-time
him
history.
because nobody believes
Today,
that he's being
all-time
serious.
high.
I think you guys are saying the same thing, just by the way.
All-time high
I mean,
in
they're
history,
I
Kevin.
think
All-time high.
his
You
point
can't
is that
debate
At an all-time
yeah,
high
I
because
know.
nobody
His
believes
point
him,
is
Kevin.
that they're at an all-time high because nobody believes Trump.
Nobody
Every
actually-
index.
Seriously.
Because
Yeah.
he keeps moving the goalposts. I'm so glad you played the footage. I was literally laughing watching Howard just like going every few weeks promising all these deals. And Besson should have sent that, and shouldn't have been an appearance, should have sent that as a text message directly to Howard Lutnick, because that was clearly what that guy needs to hear. But overall, the reason why he's not getting these deals, I just think we got to talk about the big picture here. If you're a foreign government, ally or adversary, or counterpart, whatever, are you going to make a deal with Donald Trump? And how can you believe that the U.S. is not going to have a sporadic change 3 years from now? I think Trump has eroded global trust in the American economy and American deal
You
making.
mean the all-time high market ever in history?
It's high
in
because
America?
they don't believe.
The all-time high?
They think Trump is going
like
to chicken
never
out.
been
It's
higher,
already
never been
past
worth more,
deadline.
never been more successful, never.
Kevin OLeary keeps parroting the same tired MAGA talking point. The stock market is at an all-time high, so tariffs must be working. But that's not how markets or global trade deals work. As Ahmed rightly pointed out, when Trump actually announced his Liberation Day tariffs, the market didn't surge, it dropped. Why? Because no one believed there was any coherent plan behind the bluster. Adam Mockler jumps in with the receipts too. Trump promised 90 deals in 90 days. Remember? That was the headline. That was the whole pitch. But here we are, with allies and adversities alike laughing him off the global stage, and not without reason. Trump moves the goalposts constantly. How do you negotiate with a guy who treats economic policies like improv theater? Ahmed nails the bigger picture. Global trust in American deal-making has taken a massive hit. Foreign governments, whether friends or foes, don't want to lock in deals with a country that might flip the table 3 years later. That instability has long-term consequences. Trade isn't just about deal of the day, it's about reputation and predictability of your economy. Meanwhile, Kevin OLeary's fallback is, but the market is up. Sure, but it's not because of tariffs. In fact, studies from the Peterson Institute of International Economics and even Moody's Analytics have shown that Trump's trade war cost the US economy over 300,000 jobs and raised consumer prices, essentially a hidden tax on working people.
The majority of Americans oppose tariffs on imported goods, just about the same percentage, 60%. That's a pretty lopsided assessment of that particular issue, and this idea that Trump is not focusing enough on the thing that he was elected on, which is the cost of their daily
I have
lives.
a huge problem here with this argument. Your investment account is worth more tonight at 4:30 than it's ever been in history.
Kevin, you got to look outside of your own perspective.
No,
Most
I don't,
Americans are
'cause
not
I'm
heavily
right. I'm
invested in
100%
the stock market. Most Americans
Thank goodness
are
I'm
barely
here
making ends
to
meet.
bring reality to you.
Okay,
Also-
that's
also,
wonderful.
it's
You're
also-
doing really well. You're heavily invested in the stock market.
No,
Most
every
Americans
American is.
are-
No,
no,
listen, every American
isn't.
It's high today, but the stock market has been existing in the volatility of Trump's mind. What he decides to do one day shifts and moves the markets. The sentiment is everywhere. The uncertainty, you talk to any actual investment bank or someone who's actually making long-term decisions, they can't. Our foreign adversaries, our counterparts, they can't. They don't know whether or not in the next 3 years,
You agree with
J.D.
me on
Vance
this?
will tear up
Whatever
all
he's
these
doing it, keep doing it.
So actually,
because
Kevin,
it's working.
I was going to just say that very thing, which is that it seems like what you really like about what Trump is doing right now is that he's not doing what he said he's going to do.
Yeah.
Good point.
Abby, in the end of the day,
I mean, at the end of the day, that is what has
the
gotten.
market believes.
That's what's gotten us where we are.
Oh, no. I don't want to talk stock.
I mean-
I want to talk about the American at the kitchen table putting their child
gonna say
into
that tariffs
university.
aren't
Consumer
inflationary?
sentiment is down.
All I'm saying is this tariff stuff and all this narrative, it's going to end up being reciprocal tariffs between countries, equal tariffs between EU, Canada, Australia, India, Vietnam, Indonesia. All we are saying is let's make it equal. And I think the market believes that. You may not, but meanwhile, the index that matters, the wealth of an American's savings account, you can't win your argument tonight at 4:30. I'm sorry. It's already been decided
All
by
right,
fact.
Adam, last word.
You lost.
If tariffs worked, Trump wouldn't have to gaslight the American people about who paid the tariff in the first place, and you wouldn't have to pivot to the stock market every single time we try to bring up the on-the-ground effects, the unpredictability that tariffs create. Think about the long-term effects for my generation. Can you sit here and look me in the eye and say that tariffs are not inflationary?
Are you kidding? Right
not kidding.
now, everything's working because the market.
Oh, bring up the market one more time. One more time. Pivot right back.
Kevin.
The market is the American
But Kevin,
economy.
it was,
have, like, one
it was
talking
a
point?
super simple question.
Which
Are
is?
tariffs inflationary or not?
Not yet, there haven't been.
I know, but are
Well,
they
the
inflationary?
2.7%.
Data from June shows that prices have gone up. There's a little bit of inflation, which informed Jerome Powell, head of the Federal Reserve.
Eggs are down
Let me finish my point.
33%.
Let me finish my point. It informed Jerome Powell's decision to hold off on cutting interest rates.
Exactly.
People are unable to buy homes because mortgages
You know what I'm
are
beginning to
far more
learn?
expensive.
From the jump, Kevin OLeary went full MAGA mode, leaning hard on the old stock market is at an all-time high defense. But Anna and Adam weren't having it, and rightfully so. Anna Kasparian nailed the core issue. Most Americans don't live and die by their investment accounts. They're living paycheck to paycheck, and the stock market doesn't pay their rent, put gas in their car, or cover groceries. In fact, just over half of Americans even own any stock, and the top 10% own about 90% of it. So saying you're richer because the Dow is up is disconnected from reality for most people. And the CNN host also brought the receipts. The majority of Americans oppose tariffs on imported goods, about 60% according to the recent polling. Why? Because people feel the effects. Trump's tariffs on Chinese goods, for example, led to retaliatory tariffs, hit US farmers hard, and ultimately cost American consumers more money at the register. Multiple independent studies, including from the Tax Foundation and Brookings Institute, have found that US businesses and consumers ended up footing the bill, not China. And when Adam Mockler asked the simplest question, are tariffs inflationary? Kevin danced around it like it was a trap. Spoiler, it wasn't a trap. It's a basic economic fact. Tariffs raise the cost of imports, which businesses pass on due to consumers. Even the Fed factored this into its decision to hold off on cutting interest rates due to lingering inflation tied to rising consumer costs. Anna and Adam kept the debate grounded in reality. Unpredictable trade policy, reciprocal tariffs, and short-sighted economic nationalism don't help average Americans. They just create chaos. And that chaos is exactly what global investors and working families alike are trying to avoid. Pause. Are you getting tired of getting half the story from biased news sources? One outlet says one thing and another says the complete opposite. How are you supposed to know what's actually true? That's where ground news comes in. It lets you compare how different media outlets, left, right, and center are covering the same story. So you can see the full picture instead of just the echo chamber. And here's the best part. Click the link in the description and get 40% off the Vantage tier, which gives you even deeper insights into media bias and political trends. Stay informed, think for yourself, and check out ground news in the description down below.